Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the charts behind me, which are of Robinhood, ticker symbol HOOD, as well as Applied Digital, ticker symbol APLD, and also Rocket Lab, ticker symbol RKLB. And so I'm just going to do a quick, uncut overview of these because I got some requests for them today and I'd like to put out the content for you guys, but I just don't have enough time to edit. So sorry, this might be a little rough. But yeah, I just want to share my perspective on these, hopefully in a less than 10-minute video. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead with this. And if you do like this kind of content where it's unedited, let me know in the comments below. It's a little bit easier for me to do this, but I do try to, refine what I put out, cut out all my mumbles and stuff like that. But yeah, make sure you subscribe if you do enjoy the content as well. And so here, looking at Robinhood, this one's kind of special because earnings are coming out tomorrow, February 13th. Probably as you're viewing this, it's after the 12th because I'm doing this at night. But what we can see here, we've had this pretty big run up following this gap fill to the downside. And I do want to note that one of the videos that I did put out on Robinhood was following this trading day, December 29th. And I put out a video suggesting to short Robinhood and Coinbase. I did not short them. Actually, I think I did buy puts on Robinhood. I didn't make much money with it because I got in too early. But basically, that was the right call at the top there, that it did come down, find support here. I was expecting and do expect long term that price will come down to this red trend line as it has acted as support over the long term. But it is uptrending, and so we could be revisiting that level later in the future. But for the time being, the stock prices looking pretty strong. And also, I do think that, Robinhood is correlated in a lot of ways with crypto, with Bitcoin, and that I'm not sure exactly what it's at right now. I'll just pull it up right here as I'm recording this. Let's see, USD. Is that above 50K right now? Yeah, it's above 50K, so it's looking pretty strong. And so I do think that as long as Bitcoin is able to get closes above 50K, I do think Robinhood, Coinbase, other companies that do relate to Bitcoin, I do think that they will continue to move higher with strength. But if Bitcoin does show some weakness, start to close below 50K, I do think that we could be seeing a pullback not only in Bitcoin, other altcoins, but also in like Robinhood, Coinbase. But seeing this strength here and also filling this gap here, actually filling gaps, that's actually there's going to be a lot of resistance above that because actually not on this one. That's a bad example because this was a gap going to the upside and that was already filled. Yeah, so I don't know what I'm talking about there. Really looking at that volume profile, we're getting to an area where there isn't too much resistance. If we do get up to like $12.40, do see a little bit of a volume shelf over there. But yeah, I mean, I could see this if this does close above this 236 level at like $12.19, almost there. If we can get a couple closes above that, confirm that we're closing above that level, I do think that could be really good for the stock. And then also noting this uptrend that I have drawn here, probably not too significant, but I was thinking that this was a head and shoulders pattern. And so if we do take a measurement of that from the top to that neckline, we could see where I was expecting price to go down to. And, it didn't go all the way down. So that wasn't, a full measured move there. But we did, see a drop there. Now it does look like we're bouncing. And, I think that we might, be bumping our heads at 12.19. Need to see a couple closes above that. And then really, I think that it's going to be tough to get above this uptrend. And that is really based on these two lows. So let's see, the low of December 8th and the low of December 13th. So you can redraw that if you kind of want to evaluate that in your own charts. But yeah, I mean, I don't really think this retracement has much value beyond, 12.19 other than getting to, the high here. So what I would do is just do another retracement down to here. I don't have all the lines up there, so excuse me about that. I'm going to have to add them in. So let's see, get all those in there. Yeah, so that looks good. So I'm actually going to color that yellow. So we do see some more levels there. So 1233 at the 618. That could be also resistance. So it does seem like we're getting into an area where there could be a lot of resistance, although volume does look like it's picking up. So that does seem good. RSI still below 70. And yeah, but then once we do, if we do, break above this trend line. The 786 is at 1285. So yeah, I mean, I do think that we're starting to bump into a lot of levels that could be resistance. So do keep an eye on that. But with earnings coming up, if we do, launch, we could possibly launch above 1352, and that could set us up for, a lot of, bullish movement, because we don't really have too much price action above there. If we do look at the volume profile again, yeah, I mean, that price action above 1350 is kind of ancient, going back to, let's see, April of 2022. So, I do think that if we can break above 1350, I do think that 1546, that 1618 extension of that retracement could be on the table, so something to keep in mind. But yeah, I mean, this is all just kind of rough. Sorry it is. But hopefully that offers some guidance as far as earnings goes. But yeah, I do think that this uptrending level could be resistance. So around earnings, that could be around like 1250 or maybe, 1233 with this 618 level. So do keep an eye on that. But if tomorrow is strong during the day and we are closing, let's say we're closing above 1233 or 1250, that to me would suggest that there's a lot of strength going into earnings if we're closing above this uptrend. And that would make me think that we would be testing, 1350 following earnings. So keep that in mind. And also, I should note that I don't have a position in Robinhood. I don't have puts or anything. I've actually kind of avoided it because of the whole, Robinhood removing the buy button thing. I get a little emotional with it, and that affects my judgment. And I started, buying puts too early on the way up, although my call at the top was good that it was going down. And then let's see. Also, Applied Digital was requested. I did go over this in Friday, February 9th live stream. So if you do want, my analysis on it from that date, which was, following this trading day, you can check that out. But I was just going through that clip. I was going to post it, but then I realized, I could just elaborate on it a little bit cleaner here, because in that video or in that stream, I was suggesting price could go higher up to these levels, potentially filling this gap up here, which I still do think is on the table, as it does look like, the drop today, dropping over 8%. We did come down to these levels, just below them barely, but this level that I've marked in yellow, the $4.86, closed a penny below that. It's possible that's a fake out. Really want to see two closes below levels to confirm that they are breaking down. And also from this retracement that I did in that live stream, we can see the 50% retracement here at $4.88.3. Of course, we're below that now, so that does suck. But if we do reclaim that level tomorrow, that could suggest that we are forming a bottom, and we will start to make another attempt at levels higher, like potentially, $5.50. And so, if we don't hold, though, this level, the 50% retracement, the next one down, the 382, is at a price of $4.71 or 72 cents. So if we are closing above that tomorrow, quite possible that will serve as support before we start to turn around, start making our way up. Also got the 236 here at 451, and then, full retracement down to like around 419, 418 down there. And I do want to note that I think in the last video that I made, actually I just reviewed it, that was around this day. I think it came out actually on either January 23rd or 24th, I think the 24th, and I had suggested that we could be going up to 550, and I actually picked up just a couple shares, so nothing crazy, but I did pick up, I think it was actually 3 shares, and did a swing up to 550, but that was my basically my thesis, I didn't have any plans for it going higher. So I exited. And so it was a nice little swing there. But with this retracement, I do think that, we do need to find support ideally at 472. Hopefully we don't close below that. But really, actually, ideally, hopefully we're at support. Hopefully we get a close above 488 tomorrow. Really, 489, I guess, to be technically above this level. And so if we can get a close above that and another one following that on Wednesday, I do think that could suggest the bottom is in before we start to turn around. And then also, I'm going over Rocket Lab. Somebody requested that. I will do a video on Rocket Lab on Thursday, so I'll give a little bit cleaner analysis there. But it was just pointed out that we're getting, up to where we could see some resistance. The comment was suggesting extended or is it extended or exponential moving averages, EMAs, that we're getting to a lot of resistance there. I don't typically use those. I don't typically really use moving averages just because they mess with the axis that I'm looking at. But if I do throw the moving averages up there, it does look like we have crossed above the 21-day moving average. We've closed above it. So that could be a bullish thing if we can get another close, let's see, above like 469, 470, like we did today on Monday. That could suggest that we've, found the 21-day moving average as support. And these are simple moving averages, I should note. But I do see that the 50-day moving average is up at, $4.86.7, right around this gap fill at $4.85, which was the low and the close on January 31st before, this big gap down. And I do think that was an overreaction. I do feel like the company is making good moves with their capital. And I do think that they're, a smart rocket company. And so I do think that this was an overreaction, and it just feasibly, it makes sense to me that we would be reclaiming that, filling that gap, potentially getting back up to $5. And so on this drop, nothing crazy. I can't partake in all of the stocks that I go over, but I did pick up one share, kind of lame at the bottom here. And my personal price target is $5. If we do struggle to hit 485 tomorrow, though, on Tuesday, I might think about, closing that position if it does look like we're getting into resistance there. But, I don't think that means that's the end of it. That just might be the end of my swing. And, I could see that price could be coming back down to, 450 or so, consolidate there in a bullish manner, creating a bull flag, and then could go higher. But it could also do that up here, maybe like with that 21-day moving average as support. But yeah, I will give a cleaner analysis of this on Wednesday, or I think Thursday actually. Here, let me check my my calendar. Oops. Yep, that's it. Yeah. Let's see. I will be doing Rocket Lab on Thursday. So, if you do want to see that cleaner video, subscribe to the channel and tune back in on Thursday for that. We'll also be going over these other tickers like NEO and SoFi tomorrow, as well as ChargePoint, Tilray, and also shorting the market, and then Rumble on Thursday, as well as AMC and Palantir on Friday. So, tune in for that. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry for the rough cut, but I hope it's helpful.